Oh, hello everybody. The next lesson is we're still in chapter 3. So this one is now we know how to solve one-step, two-step distribution, and we know how to solve equations with the fractions. We know how to solve equation with the decimals. Last couple of days we did the absolute value equations with the two solutions, and the last part is solving for the specified variable. So if you remember the formulas, they have a more than one variable. So something they ask you is make the specified, it could be any variable by itself. So some books use this called the literal equation, means solving for the ladders. So here's the steps. Make sure you review first. The first step is always we clear the fractions, if any. So make sure clear the fraction. How we clear the fraction? We multiply everything by the lowest common denominator, LCD. Well, then we always isolate, make by itself, the specified term. Remember, the term need to be isolated first. Well, then the last step is we isolate the specified variable. So, okay, so make sure, remember the steps. So then this one is, last time we did everything for the numbers. Now we're going to have more than one letters, but we're going to only solve for the specified ladder. Make sure read the directions carefully. So let me show you some examples. For example, so let me show you the easiest one first. So for example, here, somebody says y equals mx. How many variables here? Y, m, and x, three variables. Oh, I cannot solve for y because y is already isolated. So we can solve for x or m. So if you solve for x, so then m times x need to be by itself. How you undo the multiplication? You divide both sides by m. Well, then m and m cancel, so x equal is y over m. It's still the same rule, move and divide, so make sure, keep an eye on the specified variable. Well then, second example, for example, we can use the same one, y equals m or m times x. Somebody says, oh, what the m, solve for m, what the m equals. So now, in this case, we will keep m then. So if you want to keep the m, x must go, so you divide both sides by x. So x and x cancel, m equals y over x. So just very simple. Just remember to focus on the specified variable. So here is we can make like two steps. So for example, when we graph, this is the equation we use all the time, 6x plus 5y equals 7. So here is we have here two variables. So somebody asks you is solve for y. So make sure you read your homework problem carefully. So when you read the problem, here is asking you for the specified variable. So make sure you need to solve for that variable. So now there's no fractions here, so we are good. So then what is the specified term? So this is the specified term. So this means the second step is, if there's no fractions, we isolate the specified term. So if you want to make this one by itself, well then 6x must go. So what is the opposite of positive 6x? It is minus 6x. So we have here, so it's a 5y equals 7 minus 6x. So here's the 7 minus 6x here. So now we just divide, look, 5 times y. So now we isolate the specified variable. So divide, for now just leave as a common denominator, that's okay. So 7 minus 6x divided by 5, and that's it. So that's how we isolate the specified variable. Let me show you one with the fractions. So let's say we have something like this. It could be any, like we're looking at, so p equals, let's see, we have 2y minus, or it could be plus 3 over 2x. Something like this. This is the equation. And somebody asks you is solve for x. So we have p is already isolated. So we can go for y or x. So in this case, asking you solve for x. So now we have fractions here. What is the denominator here is 2x. So the first thing we do is, this one can be a little more, let me change this one to, that's okay. It might be a little more complicated, so I'm trying to get you an easy one. So multiply everything by 2x. So here, so is it 2x, so multiply here, so it becomes 2px equals 4xy minus, when you multiply here, these two x's, they cancel. So that's the first step. Okay, so now we're going to solve for x. It's not that hard, but there's an extra step there. So there's the GCF. So here, we're going to solve for x. The problem is, we need to combine those x terms. Okay, so then the easiest way is, look, we need to make these together. So I think we can easily fix this one. Move these to opposite sides. So here is what the opposite of negative 3 is? A positive 3. And 4xy, what the opposite of 2px is? Minus 2px. So now, in this case, the GCF, the greatest common factor, so is 3. So 2 is coming out, 4 and 2. And in this case here, px, I'm sorry. So it's 4xy minus 2px. So the x is also coming out. And what left over here? 4. 2 times 2 is a 4. So left over is 2 then. And then x, so y, minus 2 is gone. Left over is a p. Okay, so you want to make x by itself. Well, then divide everything by 2y. So this is a little more harder, so your homework is not that hard. Just 3 over 2 times 2y minus p. That's the answer. So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to give you this one. But the homework is much easier. But later on, eventually, it's going to get a little more harder. So let me show you one similar to the homework problems. So for example, here, if we have, let's say we have t equals 15, or is it 20a over b? So then somebody asks you solve for a. So here, solve for a. Well, this means you must clear the fraction first. So how do you clear the fraction? We multiply the whole thing by the lowest common denominator. So your homework is similar to this. So then, look, multiply here. What is it becomes b times t. And this b, it cancels. So what is left over? 20a. So no more fraction. That's the first step. Well, now we isolate the specified variable term. So the specified variable, this is a term, is already isolated. And is 20 times a, or how you undo the multiplication? You divide by the 20. So then 20 cancel. So your specified variable is a. So it's a bt over 20, and that's the answer. Okay? So let me show you one last one. For example, this. So let's say we have x equals 2g minus 2y over 3. That's the given problem. How many variables we have? X, g, and y. Then somebody says solve for y. So now this 2y is your specified term now. So now the first thing is that we're going to clear the fraction. So multiply the whole thing by 3. So 3 times x is 3x. And this is a common denominator here. So this 3 and this 3 cancel. Left over is 2g minus 2y. Okay, no more fraction. Again, your specified term is y. So here, that's the specified term. Well, now the specified term must be positive. If it's a specified term is negative, how you make a negative into positive? We're going to switch to other side. This means we're going to move 3x and negative 2y to the opposite side. So here, what the opposite of negative 2y is a positive 2y, 2g, and what the opposite of positive 3x is minus 3x. Well, now you want to keep y as is. This is 2 times y, so just divide everything by 2. Well, then y equals 2g minus 3x over 2, And that's the answer. Okay, so I think that's enough examples. And not only today, we can do the same worksheet, like maybe different problems, a little more practice tomorrow. So, and hopefully we can take, I mean, maybe new lesson on Thursday, we'll see. But expect tomorrow and next day similar worksheets, so solving for the specified variable. Okay, so thank you. Please do the homework. Most of you doing great. And remind your friends, hey, just wake up, because some of you are not responding. So, but most of you are doing so good. Thank you for working hard, and I'll see you soon. Bye.